Greeting, boys and girls. In today's video, we're going to be talking about number patterns. Now, these are a lot of fun. It's just trying to figure out how the numbers are changing, and it's kind of like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out what comes next. So a pattern is an ordered set of numbers or objects. Each number or object in the pattern is called a term. Okay, so each one of the numbers in the pattern is going to be called a term. So we're looking at this example. The rule for the pattern is add 5. The first term of in the pattern is 5. So we start with 5 and then we just keep adding 5. So 5 plus 5 would be 10. 10 plus 5 would be 15. 15 plus 5 would be 20. 20 plus 5 would be 25. 25 plus 5 would be 30. And I bet you know the next number in the pattern. Well, if you said 35, you are exactly right. So it's asking us in the next part to describe other patterns in the numbers. What do you notice about the digits in the ones place? Well, when I look at the ones place, I have a 5, then a 0, then a 5, then a 0, then a 5, then a 0. So I notice that it's just changing between 5 and 0, 5 and 0 in the ones place. Looking at the pattern 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, I can also notice that I'm skip counting by 5s. Okay? Now, I can describe the pattern using words odd and even by saying it's odd, then even, then odd, then even. And so forth. So that's all we're doing today, is we're just talking about patterns that involve numbers. Let's look at another problem. This time, our rule is that we are subtracting 100. Sorry, I didn't read it right. We're subtracting 10, but our first term is 100. So if I'm at 100 and I'm supposed to subtract 10, it would go down to 90, then 80, then 70, then 60. I'm just subtracting 10 each time. Let's look at the next one. Now the rule in our number pattern is to multiply by 2. Each number I'm going to multiply by 2, and I start with 4. So I'm thinking 4 times 2 would be 8. 8 times 2 would be 16. 16 times 2, it's like 16 plus 16. That would be 32. And then 32 times 2 would be 64. Notice how that pattern, our numbers got bigger, but they got bigger by a different number each time. So if I was trying to say how much I added, 4 to 8, I would have added 4. But then when I went from 8 to 16, I added 8. From 16 to 32, I would have added 16. So I knew that this was multiplication because my numbers kept increasing by more than the same number each time. Okay, so I multiplied by 2. Question 3, it says skip count by 6 and you're starting with 12. I want to see if you all can do that one on your own. Okay, hopefully you got number 3. And now let's try number 4. You should be able to do number 4 on your own as well. I'll give you a few moments for that. The rule is to add 3 and our first term is 6. Okay, this time we would have had 9, 12, 15, 18. Even though we weren't skip counting by 3, these numbers are all multiples of 3 because we started with 6, which was also a multiple. All right, let's move on to the next problem. For this next one, we have some multiple choice questions. They're asking us which pattern follows the rule add 3. Now I'm going to look at each answer choice. So the first one, to get from 60 to 63, they did, in fact, add 3. Then, when I went from 63 to 60, I went down by 3, so I subtracted 3. Then I went back to 63, so I added 3. So this one would not be the answer choice because I added 3, then I subtracted 3, then I added 3 again. For answer choice B, I first subtracted 2. To get from 3 down to 1, I would subtract 2. Then I added 3. Then to get from 4 to 2, I subtracted 2. So that pattern would be subtract 2, add 3, subtract 2. So that one also does not work. Okay, looking at C. To get from 60 to 63, I added 3. 63 to 62, I subtracted 1. And then 62 to 65, I added 3. Even though I'm adding 3 2 times, there's that one time when I subtracted 1. So because of that, the rule for this is not add 3. So now I'm down to the last one. To get from 60 to 63, I added 3. 63 to 66, I added 3. 66 to 69, I added 3. Therefore, answer choice D is the only one of those options that follows the rule of add 3. Now looking at question 9, it says the rule for a pattern is add 5. The first term in the pattern is 6. Okay, so that's what the pattern is starting with, is a 6. So I'm going to already rule out C and D because the first term is supposed to be 6. It's supposed to, these start with a 5, so that's wrong. I have to start with a 6. So now it's asking me which shows the numbers in the pattern. The rule is add 5. So I want to see that my numbers are increasing by 5 each time. 6 to 11, that increased by 5. 11 to 9, that went down, that decreased by 2. 9 to 14, that increased by 5. 14 to 12, that decreased again by 2. So A is not it. Let's look at number 9. To go from 6 to 11, that increased by 5. 11 to 6, okay, they added another 5. I said 11 to 6. 11 to 16 is what I meant. 16 to 21, they also added 5. And then 21 to 26, they also added 5. So this would be the correct answer. Answer choice B. All right, we're almost done. We have a multi-step problem here. They tell us that Sandy lives on the side of a street where all the house numbers are even. The house to the left of hers is number 356. The house to the right of hers is 360. What is Sandy's house number? So let's imagine we have a house here, another house, and this house. So here's Sandy's house. We don't know what her house number is, but it says the house to the left of hers is 356. Then there's her house, and then the house to the right of hers is 360. And they told us that all the house numbers are even. So there's a number right in between 356 and 360 that's even. Well, I know it's not 354 because 354 would be over here. Okay? I know it's not 362 because 362 would be over here. Answer choice D says 357. Now, 357 is somewhere in between here, in between 356 and 360, but that is odd. It ends in a 7, so it's an odd number. And when I think about it, 358 would be right in the center. So her house number has got to be 358. I hope that made sense. All right, boys and girls, in this video, we were looking at number patterns. I hope you enjoyed it, and till we meet again, take care.